Hey there guys, Mike here. Mike's DVDs and Blu-rays collection is back for another episode, and today is a Western Roundup update. Got some new Westerns to talk about. I know you guys like the Western episodes. So yeah, I got some new releases, new to me, and I think I pulled out a couple. I wanted to rewatch another one. And then I got a newer Western, kind of a neo-Western, I guess you could say. So yeah, there you go. Before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and all that good stuff. So let's get right to it, guys. So the first release, this is a movie that I've wanted to see ever since I remember it coming out on Laserdisc. It came out in like 93 or 94, I want to say. And MGM UA Laserdisc. It was very interesting. Wanted to see it then. But let's fast forward almost 30 years and or 25 years, whatever. To this Warner Archive Blu-ray release of it. This is a movie called Wild Rovers, and it's a movie starring William Holden, Ryan O'Neal, and Carl Malden, and it was written and directed by Blake Edwards of Pink Panther fame and all the movies that Blake Edwards made. Kind of different, him making a Western. I don't believe he made very many Westerns. This may be his only one. Ted Sennett of the Great Hollywood Westerns wrote that this is one of the best Western films of the 1970s. This came out in 1971. I'll read a little bit about it. Lifelong ranch hand Ross Bodine decides cowpunching is no kind of life, so he and a raw cowboy half his age rob a bank to get cash. Each needs to improve his lot. An indignant posse is soon in pursuit. Filmmaker Blake Edwards made his name with the Pink Panther and other comedies, but he's also showed great skill in other genres with the thriller, experiment in terror, the drama, Days of Wine and Roses, and his nuanced paean to the West. In performances perfectly matching Edwards' balance of rowdy comedy and hard scrabble period realism, William Holden and Ryan O'Neal play the fugitive saddlebums, with Holden drawing special praise. As he grows older, he grows bitter, like a great old wine. All the reverberations from the previous roles are beginning to sound. That's something Roger Ebert wrote in the Chicago Sun-Times. But yeah, good movie. Got to watch it the other night. It's got a good score by Jerry Goldsmith. It also stars, who else is in there? Rachel Roberts. It's got a good cast. It's got a lot of great supporting cast and everything in there, so it's really good. It's Metro Color, filmed in Panavision. You can really tell the 2:3:5 aspect ratio, and it looks really good. It's got a special featurette called the Movie Makers. It's a lot of behind the scenes stuff on set of some of the scenes. It shows one of the stunt scenes it's set up, and it's kind of cool. William Holden at his older age doing some stunts and everything and stuff. So, and Ryan O'Neal's good in it. Ryan O'Neal is kind of a take it or leave it kind of actor with me. I mean, he's kind of good in this, but not so much in this. But yeah, really cool movie. A great rewatchable one. And really cool. And this came out it seems like a few years ago. 2018, 2019. So it's not too old, this edition. So there you go, Wild Rovers. Next up, this was a newer Western that had come out in the last few years. or at least it's new to me. 2017 it came out, so it's not too new. But this is a movie called The Ballad of Lefty Brown, and this stars Bill Pullman, Kathy Baker, Jim Caviezel, Tommy Flanagan, and Peter Fonda. This might have been one of Peter Fonda's last movies, because he's a lot older in this. But yeah, the Hollywood, what is that? The Hollywood Outsider said the premier Western of the past 2 decades. He never wanted to be the hero, but Lefty Brown rose to the occasion. This is set in the West, desolate plains of Montana. The Ballad of Lefty Brown is an ode to the traditional revenge Western. When famed frontier lawman and Montana's first elected Senator Eddie Johnson, played by Peter Fonda, is brutally murdered, his longtime sidekick and friend Lefty Brown, played by Bill Pullman, will stop at nothing to avenge his death. And yes, he does. Now, Bill Pullman's performance, at first, it's kind of hard to take a little bit, because he's doing this accent, or not an accent, but he's doing this, he has a distinct voice in this movie, and it doesn't really tell you anything about him in the past. Like, who is he? Why is he like this? Why is he, but he's an aging cowboy. He had rode with Peter Fonda for 40 years, it said in the movie. So they basically since teenagers. And but he's kind of they kind of call him a half-wit a lot of times. He's kind of slower. I don't know if he had an injury or something, but I mean, it's a good performance. I mean, maybe depending on your mood, maybe. I mean, maybe. But it kind of goes up and down with me a little bit, kind of like, it's But overall, it's well made. It's got some characters in here that you really root to get shot. Some really crappy people, some backstabbing, So apparently, Peter Fonda and Bill Pullman and I guess Jim Caviezel or however you say his last name, and another guy were basically 4 people. They basically grew up together, rode together, did all this. They were kind of outlawish people at one time, and now you got the Jim Caviezel character. He's trying to be governor. He's changed his ways, and he's trying to be governor. And Peter Fonda was interested in politics too, and he was going to, go to Washington and do this, do that, or and he gets murdered. I don't want to tell you everything, so you want to see how this unfolds and stuff, and I don't want to give away all the spoilers and stuff, but apparently, they were a group of friends, and Tom has kind of, split them up. I think Tommy Flanagan was the other guy. He's been in a bunch of movies, got like a Irish accent. I believe he's Irish. And he's kind of the Jim Caviezel character's like right-hand man, so to speak. So they just didn't expect Bill Pullman to be that guy that would test them and stuff. So there's some backstabbing, some stuff going on. So I don't know. It's a movie you definitely got to check out and see for yourself. And I mean, I guess it's all going to hinge on Bill Pullman's character. If you can believe his character and deal with how his character is, then you'll like the movie. But you may not buy his character. So if that's what's going to decide that, if you like this movie. So there you go, The Ballad of Lefty Brown. And I also have a ultraviolet digital code for that. It may be expired. I didn't even think about that. Let me look. Well, cancel that. It's expired. I'm sorry. I was going to give that away to whoever wanted it, but it's expired. Okay, now here's a movie. The next one's a double feature from Warner Archive. This is a DVD. I pulled this out. I think I covered this on another episode, but I wanted to re-watch Hell's Heroes and Three Godfathers again. So these are the original ones, or not the very first Three Godfathers, but this is the 1936 version of Three Godfathers and 1929 or 1930s Hell's Heroes. Hell's Heroes was directed by William Wyler. I recently made a William Wyler video. Depending on when you see this, it may already be out. But I did include this. I forgot about this one. I didn't include that one, but I watched it, and they're both really good. I mean, Three Godfathers was, remade again in 1949 by John Ford, starring John Wayne and a couple other characters, which has become the more definitive version, so to speak. But with Three Godfathers, this one stars Chester Morris, Louis Stone, and a very young Walter Brennan. And I think they do pretty good in it. And it was really enjoyable. Both of them are. I'm not a huge fan of the early Westerns of in the 1930s. Because back then they were pretty different than the 40s. I mean, they would wear ridiculously big hats, and just their outfits and stuff just look like actors in outfits, and some of them were kind of stagey and creaky, and some of them weren't that great. That's why I usually look at 1939 Stagecoach by John Ford as the beginning of the real Western, the more modern Western that we know of today and stuff. But these are pretty good. These are pretty good examples, and I know there's other movies in the 30s that are good, but it's just the way I kind of think about it. But Hell's Heroes is pretty good too. But yeah, both of these are really interesting movies. One's is let's see, Hell's Heroes is a Universal movie, and MGM for Three Godfathers. So pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see a young Walter Brennan and stuff, because he was really good. He was a really good character actor. Okay, so I was kind of on the older Western tip for a few days. Now this next one is also from MGM, and this is from 1930. And this is called Billy the Kid. And it's directed by King Vidor. So this was a prestigious production. King Vidor was one of the biggest directors at MGM at that time. And this was pretty huge because it had, Wallace Beery and Johnny Mac Brown, which he would become a pretty big Western actor and kind of like B movies and stuff for the next 20, 30 years after this. But he's very young in this. It's also got Kay Johnson and Carl Dane. Now, Carl Dane was in the 1925 King Vidor movie, The Big Parade, and he didn't graduate to sound films as good as some people. He had a really thick accent. I think he had a German accent or something like that. And he would actually, I think he would die in 1934, 33 or something. He just really was on the outs at that point. But his role in The Big Parade was a big celebrated thing at the time. So, but anyways, it's really good. This is an early Western, talkie Western at that. And it was also filmed in an early widescreen process. Now this print is only the standard presentation of it. So I think the widescreen print may be lost, or it may be available, or I'm not really sure, but it was done in an early widescreen process, which is very interesting, because around this same time, 20th Century Fox did their widescreen Western with John Wayne. The Big Trail? Raoul Walsh directed it, and now that version is available in a widescreen or Pan and Scan 133 stuff. But anyways, Billy the Kid, that was one of the things that got me interested in this movie, the early widescreen. But other than that, it's really pretty good, actually. It's not, I mean, of course, it's kind of stagey a little bit, but it kind of tells the story of Billy the Kid and Pat Garrett, kind of doing that, the whole Lincoln County War and all that stuff. So, so you got Wallace Beery as Pat Garrett, and then you got Johnny Mac Brown as Billy the Kid. So, pretty interesting movie. It's probably one of the better early westerns that I've seen. Next up, this is a double feature. This is a double feature. Let's see, what's this? The main one I got this for is for this movie called Shotgun, and it's a Sterling Hayden, Yvonne DiCarlo movie. Pretty decent. I mean, the print's pretty okay. This is on Kit Parker Films DVD release, and it's a really hard to find movie. But also on here, there's like 5 other movies, 4 short type hour-long movies. Then you got a movie called Massacre. But Shotgun was the movie that I wanted to check out and watch on here, which is pretty cool. It's directed by Leslie Cylinder, which he did a whole lot of westerns and stuff back then. He did some Randolph Scott stuff. He did some, I think he even did some Joel McCrea movies and stuff. But it's also got Zachary Scott and screenplay by Rory Calhoun. So I don't know if that's the actor or not, but it's filmed in early Technicolor, and it's a 1.85 widescreen. So yeah, pretty cool. Not the best of the 50s movies, but really interesting. I mean, it's got Yvonne DiCarlo, which she's really good in most of her movies and stuff. And of course, Sterling Hayden is great. And finally, guys, I got like multiple copies of this movie. I love this movie. It's really good. 1960s, The Magnificent Seven. Now, this was a DVD release that came out in the mid-2000s, and there was a bunch of different movies like this. There was a Raging Bull, there was a Midnight Cowboy, and stuff. And these are like real deluxe DVD packaging and stuff. It's really cool. And I was able to find this, and it was really next to nothing, brand new. But yeah, 1960. It's directed by John Sturges. Of course, it's got the memorable Elmer Bernstein score. Not to mention all the people in it, but I'm going to show off the package here a little bit. So, it kind of opens up. It's got a little booklet there. It's like a trifold. And then you got the movie on one disc, and you got all the special features on the second disc. It folds up pretty nice. But yeah, I have this on, Blu-ray, and I may even have it on Laserdisc. I don't know if I can get it back in there. But anyways, this is a great movie. Don't need to even explain The Magnificent Seven, really. But huge cast. You got Eli Wallach, Steve McQueen, Charles Bronson, Robert Vaughn, James Coburn, Horst Bullock, whatever his name is, and Yul Brynner. Did I say Yul Brynner? Yeah, Yul Brynner. And really, really nice. I mean, this is before 1963, The Great Escape would come out. John Sturges again directing, music by Elmer Bernstein again. Steve McQueen, James Coburn, and Charles Bronson would all return to be part of that production, which is very memorable, of course, also. But yeah, the Magnificent Seven. This is a two-disc set, and it's pretty neat. I mean, if you don't mind, you know, double dipping and stuff like that, just as a fan, it's really nice. So there you go, the Magnificent Seven. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Just a few movies that I've watched here lately on the Western genre. Don't forget to comment. Let me know what you think about some of those. And again, if you like it, give me a like, and also subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I have a lot of Western videos to show you, and all that good stuff. So until next time, guys, I am Mike. Keep watching good movies, and I'll see you again later.